Welcome to the SVG-TV news for Friday, May 13th. I am Khalil Kato with the details. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines signed a memorandum of understanding between the destination and the Royal Caribbean Group today to recruit Vincentians for several job opportunities with the cruise line. Minister of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture, Carlos James, signed the MOU on behalf of the government of SVG following a meeting with the Royal Caribbean Group at its Miami office. Minister James noted that continuous engagements with the group over the last year led to this strategic partnership. According to the tourism minister, the memorandum will secure future employment for Vincentians, particularly those who were adversely affected by the eruption of the La Soufrière volcano just over a year ago. The strategic partnership will see Royal Caribbean actively engaged in the recruitment of up to 2,000 Vincentians for entry-level and specialty positions on Royal Caribbean Group vessels through a series of job fairs. The government of SVG will facilitate the recruitment activities on island in the coming months. Minister James noted that SVG's greatest asset continues to be the quality of its human resource and Vincentian hospitality, which we are happy to share with the rest of the world, including the Royal Caribbean Group. Regional Vice President of Government Relations of the Royal Caribbean Group, Wendy MacDonald, said the Caribbean is just not a region to their ships, guests and crew to visit. It is home to Vincentian employees who have always demonstrated a strong work ethic. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves welcomed the signing of the MOU with Royal Caribbean, saying that it will create employment for Vincentians. Summer is globally known as wedding season, and as summer 2022 approaches, SVG is making it easier for visitors to now have their marriage application for short notice or same-day wedding processed on the same day. The announcement came from Minister of Tourism Carlos James. James said that compared to other Caribbean islands that have been able to successfully pull off same-day weddings, the process for SVG as a multi-island state was more difficult until now.
Component which has to be done through the delegation of powers in terms of a specific regulation which has to also be triggered will be a situation where usually the application requires a payment of fees, and who can collect those fees, and then it's usually in the form of stamps, and therefore it means you have to come up to St. Vincent, go to the registry, purchase the stamps, take it from the Treasury to the registry and then the Attorney General's chambers. Again, an exhausting exercise if you're doing a same day or a short notice wedding. What we're hoping to do is to have those powers delegated from the Governor General to revenue officers on the respective islands on Union or Mustique or Bequia or Canouan, who can then facilitate the collection of the fees and the processing of the applications. So it's a full, complete process which can take place within the Grenadines. And we're hoping that as we facilitate this, we're able to essentially get a lot more persons coming to the destination, because that was one of the challenges and one of the hurdles which we had to navigate when it comes to destination weddings.
Amendments to the Marriage Act now makes it easier to market SVG as a wedding destination for both visitors and locals. Chairperson of the SVG Tourism Authority, Bianca Porter, says that the legislative amendments to the Marriage Act stand to benefit not just persons getting married, but SVG on a whole.
You know, when you think about persons coming, and we have 29 accommodations, reserving all 29 accommodations, that's revenue for us. It's revenue for the government because we're collecting VAT, we're collecting the CRL, the Climate Resiliency Levy, we're employing sometimes additional staff, so it's of great economic benefit to the country. There's departure tax, whether it's included in the ticket or payable at the airport, so it's really a big plus.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Medicinal Cannabis Authority, the MCA, Dr. Gerald Thompson, is describing the advancements in the medicinal cannabis industry as tremendous, as he believes that SVG is a leading force in the region. Speaking on VC3's Roundtable Talk, Dr. Thompson said in recent times there has been tremendous breakthroughs in the use of cannabis to treat medical conditions. The MCA currently has a handful of physicians and pharmacists who are authorized to prescribe and dispense cannabis to persons. He said persons who are affected by chronic pain stand to benefit most from the use of medicinal cannabis.
This is a breakthrough now, where for the first time since 2020, 60 years since these things, the first of these treaties came out, single convention and it's called, we now have recognition of medicinal cannabis as bona fide treatment for a number of conditions. And to hear doctors say that this is a major breakthrough because people with chronic pain, back pain, arthritis, other conditions, or people with glaucoma, or people with epilepsy and neurological illnesses, they can now have the benefit.
Dr. Thompson said SVG is also setting up itself to be a front runner in the Caribbean for the production of medicinal cannabis, as the laboratory, opened in 2021, allows for international standards to ensure that the correct amounts are being used in the prescribed drugs.
In terms of which product that you should receive for which condition, it is different, you know? And for conditions like glaucoma, you need more of a product that has high THC. Whereas a condition like epilepsy or Parkinson's disease or multiple sclerosis, you know, you need more, a condition has a substance called CBD. And often when somebody has cannabis, it's difficult to tell what is actually inside that cannabis. And for the first time, here in St. Vincent, really, we're able to make sure that a product is properly labeled, that the doctors could know for this condition, we are going to give this type of cannabis. And for that condition, we're looking to give that type of cannabis. And I think this is modern medicine.
Meanwhile, Dr. Thompson predicts the local cannabis industry, the local medicinal cannabis industry, will become a major revenue earner. He said most of the product offered at the launch of SVG's first cannabis consumption lounge last weekend was sourced from local traditional cultivators. He says they have been producing a quality product at a remarkable rate, and he expects they will be exporting on a larger scale in the coming months.
I'm expecting that in the upcoming months, we're going to see additional international exports. I'm expecting that hopefully even at a regional level, you're going to see manufactured products leaving St. Vincent and the Grenadines, going to other Caribbean nations. We're going to see, especially as the tourism season starts to roll around again, that you see a real upsurge in visiting qualified patients.
Chief Operating Officer of the MCA, Terrell Mapp, says the growth of the medicinal cannabis industry has resulted in employment opportunities for Vincentians. He also says, despite the challenges presented by the COVID-19 pandemic and the eruption of the La Soufrière volcano, in addition to the complexities of international narcotics laws, the industry is pushing ahead.
So we have seen thus far over 120 persons permanently employed in the medicinal cannabis industry. So the industry is rolling out smoothly despite the challenges. There are still a plethora of challenges to go through. Maneuvering the industry in the framework, within the framework of the International Narcotics Control Board is quite difficult, and even our own law, sometimes we have to be flexible, we have to be nimble in order to make this industry work and make it successful. But thus far, as I said, over $25 million has been injected in the industry, which has created jobs in the midst of COVID and La Soufrière for many persons, and many households have benefited.
The 2022 edition of the Caribbean Primary Exit Assessment, CPEA, ended today for grade 6 students across SVG. Language arts and science were administered today, with social studies and mathematics yesterday. In a few weeks' time, the students will find out how they performed in the regional exam, as the results are expected to be released in June. Our news team spoke to a number of them, of the students outside the examination center at the West St. George Secondary School, on their expectation.
My name is Vancy Horn. I'm from the Bel Air Government School doing my CPEA at the West St. George, and I think maths is going to be challenging because I didn't revise a lot on it, so I think it will be challenging. And when I grow up, I say I want to be a pilot, but I know I have to work hard to be a pilot.
My name is Evan Salvi and I'm from Sanders School. I want to go grammar school.
But if you don't get through to go grammar school, what's your next choice?
Thomas Sanders.
My name is Glenn Lewis. I'm from Fayhall Government School. I'm very confident that I'm going to...
The identity of the body which was discovered in the Richmond Hill area on Thursday up to news time is still unidentified. The partially decomposed body of a young female was found stuffed in a bag and dumped in a gutter close to Joyette's auto repair shop by 2 employees of the business sometime around 9 a.m. The body, which the employees initially thought was that of a male, was later revealed to be that of a female.
A woman is a woman body, yeah. Yeah, but first when I see it, when I be thinking it's like a man or something now. Like a little pose, like a man, a boy now. Right? So I saying it look like a boy there in the bag, you know, but when they take out the body now is when I say it's a woman. I couldn't make out the face. One thing I could see on the pose really is like a chop on the man. The most I see on the man. Right? That's the only thing I recognize. So say, well, I see a chop on the pose hand, but I see nothing else. More than them eye popping out like so many, you know.
Meanwhile, head of the Criminal Investigations Unit, Superintendent Closton Francis, told SVG-TV News that all persons who had been reported missing recently are accounted for, and the body is not believed to be connected to any of those cases. He said efforts to confirm the identity of the deceased are still ongoing, and police are waiting to see if anyone comes forward with information about a missing relative or friend, which will allow them to confirm who the person is. Residents in the Richmond Hill area declined to be interviewed on camera. However, they did tell SVG-TV News that they do not believe the deceased originated from the area, as there is no one who matches the gender or age of the deceased. They expressed shock, however, at the discovery and confusion as to why the body was dumped there. One resident said she had been noticing a foul odor when passing in the area, but believed the smell was coming from a dead animal. The international organization IOM, with funding from the government of Japan, has completed rehabilitation works carried out at the Golden Years Activity Center at Black Point in North Central Wynwood. On Saturday, May 7th, program coordinator of IOM, Jan Willem Vegdam, officially handed over the building to the National Insurance Services, the NIS.
So today we have the official handover of the Golden Years facility in Black Point. We've been able to support this project with the funds from Japan. It's an emergency shelter and with a separate function of an elderly daycare home. The project has been implemented in collaboration with the NIS. It went really smoothly. This facility was also a bit in disrepair and needed some love, care and attention. And the team with local contractors has done a lot of repairs in a good time period. I'm impressed by the quality of the work. It looks like it's really done in a way that it will be sustainable for the coming decades. So yeah, it's great to see that we have an emergency shelter, but with a long-term function, so that also in the years to come, the elderly can benefit from this project.
Executive Director of the NIS, Stuart Haynes, said they are happy to be a part of the project, noting that the facility, which is also used as an emergency shelter, is now in a state of readiness in the event of a disaster.
In 2005, the NIS donated this facility to the Golden Years Activity Trust. And this facility has been used for multi-purpose in terms of an activity center.
The Golden Years Trust operates the multi-purpose centers in Cane Grove and Black Point. Following the eruption of La Soufrière, IOM, with funding from the people of Japan, supported the trust with the running costs of the center in Cane Grove that is still sheltering 9 displaced persons for EC $60,000 and the rehabilitation of both centers for a total of $180,000 EC dollars. Astor John, commonly known as Ras John, is a self-taught ergonomist with years of experience and holds the most awards for the Best Landscaper in the Best of SVG Awards. In an interview with the Agency for Public Information (API), John highlighted that his love for landscaping and agriculture was not birthed overnight and gives credit to his parents who would have had laid a proper foundation for him.
From small, I grew up in a farming family where my dad used to be a top farmer in my community, you know what I'm saying? Create a lot of employment, bring a lot of revenue, especially to sell bananas and yam and dashing and those things, you know. So I learned from my dad, he used to intercrop and know when to diversify and all those things, you know what I'm saying? So I learned a lot from my dad and my mom. They were some top farmers. When I look at traveling and look at other country, have such a beautiful landscaping around the properties and things, I say, I can do a lot better in this country. So I turned to doing landscaping and then start from doing small jobs and get bigger and bigger and people see my potential, you know.
With over 20+ years of experience in landscaping, John has created his own oasis at his home where he breeds a number of exotic birds and fish. Had noted that he would love to add more, but the government needs to step in and revise the necessary laws to be more accommodating.
Kois, Galapaco, I got Calapian, Sotail, Angel, and those types. I can do better still, we can do better, but I think the agriculture department need to put a little more energy into like update the mistake that we make. You know what I'm saying? We ban a lot of stuff, and when we're really going to revise it and say, well, we can change the laws and sort these cars. But it's a nice pet in Trinidad, in Barbados, in all Caribbean islands. You can get boards, import boards. Since you can't have import boards, and we have national board, we cannot get none for ourselves. I would like to get 2 in my property.
John, who is also very passionate about diversification, took the opportunity to share tips on what could be done by the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry to secure our rainforests and help farmers of SVG.
You know, a lot of fruit, a lot of trees, you know what I'm saying? That destroying our rainforest, because right now they're all getting problem with water. So we should cherish what we have and try and increase on it. So there is where forestry come in to replant no place and compensate those farmers, put them to do something better. You know what I'm saying? Instead of destroying our nice forest with us. Some sakadashi in irrigate the place and destroy the water level. Water is a very, very important. We can make so much from water. And we can do something like fish. We can diversify into making fish ponds, and we can sell freshwater fish, we can sell shrimps, we can sell crab, we can sell lobster. Just divert, you know what I mean? Dig some hole, divert the water in the hole and put in some liners. It's easy. We have machine. No, not the first 10 days when you have to use pick and scoop. We have excavators. We all have different size. You know what I'm saying? We have technology that can bring in the liner and make it a lot more better for the farmers.